Imagine a world where the truth, almost one of history's most stunning occasions, has been bolted absent for decades. A world where whispers of trick and covered-up plans have fueled unending theory. For about 6 decades, the truth has been protected by classified records. But in 2017, Donald Trump took a momentous step by declassifying thousands of these mystery archives. Did this uncover the answers we've all been holding up for? Or did it, as it were, develop the secret? Adhere around as we disentangle the insider facts of the JFK records and investigate their stunning revelations. What if the answers to one of the most scandalous riddles in American history were bolted absent for decades, covered up from the world? For over 50, a long time, whispers of cover-ups, shadowy schemes, and mystery plans have encompassed the death of President John F. Kennedy. In 2017, Donald Trump took the world by shock when he declassified thousands of profoundly classified reports around the case. But did these records at long last uncover the truth? Or did they raise indeed more exasperating questions? Remain with us as we reveal the insider facts covered up inside the JFK records and the startling disclosures that cleared out everybody talking. On a sunny evening in Dallas, Texas, President John F. Kennedy's motorcade coasted through Daly Square. Swarms accumulated, cheering and waving as the charismatic youthful pioneer passed by. Abruptly, discharges rang out. Chaos ejected. The 35th president of the joined-together states was lethally shot, sending shockwaves around the globe. In the days taking after the death, a man named Lee Harvey Oswald was captured and denounced of being the solitary shooter. Be that as it may, Oswald himself was gunned down by club proprietor Jack Ruby Fair 2 days afterward, taking off the world with more questions than answers. The official government report, known as the Warren Commission, concluded that Oswald acted alone. But for millions, this clarification never sat right. How might one man with no earlier sign of such capabilities single-handedly drag off such a high-profile death? And why did so numerous witnesses claim to listen shots from distinctive headings? For decades, scheme speculations have proliferated. Was it the CIA, the mafia, a remote government, or indeed a shadowy collaboration of different parties? The truth appeared fair out of reach, locked absent in classified government records. The mystery encompassing JFK's death wasn't inadvertent. After the catastrophe, the U.S. government cited national security as the reason for withholding certain reports. Insights offices like the CIA and FBI were profoundly included in the examination, and numerous accepted discharging these records may uncover touchy data, approximately clandestine Cold War operations. In the 1990s, open weight for straightforwardness driven Congress to pass the JFK Records Act of 1992, ordering the discharge of all assassination-related records by 2017. The law pointed to give closure and straightforwardness. In any case, as the 2017 due date drawn nearer, questions remained. Would the government really discharge everything? Or would the records, as it were, affirm doubts of a cover-up? Then came President Donald Trump's choice. In October 2017, previous President Donald Trump made features by authorizing the discharge of about 2,800 classified JFK records. This move was hailed as a notable step toward revealing the truth. Trump, known for his eccentrics, declared on Twitter, "The long-anticipated discharge of the JFK files will take put tomorrow." So interesting. However, not all records were discharged. The CIA, FBI, and other insights offices asked extra time to audit and redact certain archives, citing continuous national security concerns. Trump concurred, clearing out thousands of records still somewhat classified or completely withheld. This choice started shock among students of history, analysts, and trick scholars who accepted the government was once more covering up basic data. Despite these misfortunes, the records that were declassified uncovered intriguing points of interest. Now let's jump into what the declassified JFK records uncovered. One of the most noteworthy disclosures centered on Lee Harvey Oswald's puzzling exercises in the months driving up to the death. The records uncovered that Oswald had gone to the Soviet and Cuban government offices in Mexico City in September 1963, fair weeks sometime recently JFK's death. While there, Oswald supposedly looked for a visa to travel to Cuba and afterward to the Soviet Union. This raised disturbing questions. Was Oswald working for an outside government? Did he have co-conspirators? Or was he essentially a rebel person seeking after his possessed plan? Documents too appeared that U.S. insights offices were mindful of Oswald's developments and checked his exercises. Be that as it may, the records halted brief of demonstrating any coordinate inclusion by remote governments, clearing out room for hypothesis. The records uncovered that the CIA had been keeping tabs on Oswald long, sometime recently the death. They knew approximately his absconding to the Soviet Union in 1959, his return to the U.S. in 1962, and his open back for Fidel Castro's Cuba. In spite of this, there were dazzling crevices in their observation. Critics contend that these holes propose negligence, or more awful, think inaction. A few scheme scholars indeed claim that Oswald may have been controlled or surrounded by insights offices. The records, moreover, uncovered the profound doubt and competition between the CIA and FBI amid the examination. Both offices withheld basic data from one another, possibly compromising the investigation's viability. For occasion, the FBI had catching a call Oswald made to the Soviet government office fair, weeks sometime recently the death. This data was not shared with other agents, raising questions around whether key points of interest were intentionally smothered. Another critical disclosure included the Mafia. The records affirm that the CIA had worked with Mafia figures in the early 1960s to plot the death of Cuban pioneer Fidel Castro. This hazardous disclosure reignited hypotheses that the Mafia, feeling sold out by the Kennedys, may have turned against JFK. Robert F. Kennedy, the president's brother and lawyer common at the time, had forcefully sought after organized wrongdoing amid his residency. A few accept this crackdown made the Kennedys a target for Mafia striking back. The declassified records, moreover, uncovered the responses of outside governments to Kennedy's death. The Soviet Union, for illustration, dreaded that the U.S. might denounce them of association and utilize it as a guise for war. One record famous that Soviet authorities accepted Kennedy's death was portion of an ultra-right scheme inside the U.S., pointed at arranging an overthrow or heightening pressures with Moscow. While the declassified records given charming experiences, they fell brief of understanding the secret. Thousands of archives stay classified or intensely redacted, clearing out basic questions unanswered. Why were Oswald's developments in Mexico City not more closely checked? What did U.S. insights organizations know around potential dangers to JFK, sometime recently the death? And most critically, why are a few records still being withheld indeed decades afterward? In 2021, President Joe Biden authorized the discharge of extra records, but numerous stay covered up. The preceded mystery has, as it were, fueled doubts of a bigger cover-up. With so much riddle still encompassing the death, speculations proceed to prosper. Some accept rebel components inside the CIA organized the death to avoid JFK from scaling back U.S. association in Vietnam. Others contend that the Mafia looked for exact retribution for Robert Kennedy's forceful crackdown on organized wrongdoing. Hypothesis remains that Cuba or the Soviet Union may have played a part given Kennedy's hardline position amid the Cold War. In spite of these speculations, the official narrative that Oswald acted alone remains the most broadly acknowledged clarification. But is it the full truth? So why does the JFK death proceed to fascinate the world? It's not fair around history, it's approximately believe. The mystery encompassing the death has disintegrated open certainty in government educate. For numerous, the discharge of the JFK records was gathered to give closure. In step, it cleared out us with indeed more questions. What is the government still stowing away, and why? Donald Trump's choice to declassify the JFK records was a notable minute, but it was distant from the last chapter. The records given tantalizing clues, but the full truth remains tricky. As long as key reports stay covered up and questions unanswered, the death of John F. Kennedy will proceed to frequent history, starting perpetual talk about an hypothesis. So, what do you accept? Was Oswald really a solitary shooter, or is there a more profound trick at play? Share your considerations in the comments underneath, and don't disregard to subscribe for more profound jumps into the riddles that shape our world.